I am going to go over how to add the Holley CAN protocol to your Hardwire PDM. So we have been a dealer for Hardwire for a little while now, and probably about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And the PDM 28 is an awesome piece. PDM 25 is an awesome piece. We've been selling a lot of them. We actually, I believe we're one of the biggest dealers in the world for Hardwire at the moment, which is pretty awesome. And I appreciate everybody that has purchased from us, and I am happy to help all of y'all. But I have decided that we have had such an overwhelming amount of people hit us up about hooking up CAN bus to their Holley. And what I've been doing is getting on TeamViewer with people and doing this for them. But I figured it'd probably be easier because y'all can't do it without a file that I have anyway. So um, you're if you've purchased a Hardwire PDM from us and you need and you want to integrate CAN bus from Holley into your Hardwire PDM, watch this video. If you're on the fence about buying a Hardwire PDM, watch this video. If you didn't even know this was possible, watch this video. Either way, just watch the video. So here's what we got going on. The first thing we need is we need to have the serial number from your ECU. So if you took a picture of your back of your ECU, it's printed on a label there. If not, you can go into your Holley software, connect to the ECU, click this little down arrow here, and hit Get Extended ECU Information. All right, so the ID for this is 30982. Okay? Now, it's a little confusing, but I'm going to go slow, and it's not that hard. Okay? So go down here to your search bar and search for calculator. It's already here. It's recent. So hit calculator. All right, so when your calculator pops up, you have, depending on what you've been doing, you could have a standard calculator like this, but go to programmer like that. And what we're going to do is 30982, right? So 30982. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. So 30982. Now notice what it does here. Okay. Creates a whole bunch of different numbers. We're going to go bitwise and 2047. It's going to equal 262. You don't need the explanation for why this does this. It doesn't matter. Just know that this is how it works, and do what I'm showing you to do, and it'll work for you. So we don't need to get into hexadecimal and all this other stuff. Like I'm not, we don't have hours to go over this. So anyway, just remember that number 262. So now that we've got our ID, we have figured out our offset right there. We can close the calculator or just jot down that number, whatever your number is, right? Okay. And now we are done with Holley. So right now I'm going to go over to the car, unplug the USB. You probably heard it beep, and then plug it into the Hardwire PDM. All right. So now we're going to open up Hardwire PDM software. So when you first open this up, you're going to have to search for your device. It's going to find it and then hit connect. So if you've already got a PDM 28 or a 25, you're probably semi-familiar with this. So we're going to go to configuration, and this is where you do all your programming, right? So the first thing you need to do is go to general, and we need to set the CAN bus speed. So the PDM 28 has two different CAN buses. If you've bought a harness from us, we've given you a good pinout diagram. If you haven't, in here, there's Pin Manager. And if you click here, you'll see that, like, here's your connector, right? So right there, we're using CAN 1. I'm using CAN 1 on my car for the Holley CAN bus, okay? So there we go, CAN 1. It should be wired there. Obviously, wire CAN 1 low from the Hardwire PDM to CAN 1 low on the ECU. CAN 1 high, blah, blah, blah. So we're using CAN 1. So we're going to go back over to configuration, general, CAN bus 1. We need to be at 1,000 kilobits per second on CAN bus 1, or for Holley, so whatever CAN bus you're on. For you guys with PDM 25s, you've only got one CAN bus, and that's okay. You will have to reprogram your Blink Marine keypad if you have one to operate at 1,000 kilobits per second. There's a good video from Hardwire on how to do that on YouTube. Watch that, and you'll be good to go. So, okay, our CAN speed is set. We want to turn on the terminating resistor. We're done here, okay? So you can go up here and you can save it if you want, right? So you go up here, save, and this one's just called like vert PDM config. If you don't know what you've already saved it as, you can notice right here, configuration file, vert PDM config. All right, so there we go, save. And yeah, sure. Okay, now let's go over here to CAN inputs. So again, we don't need to go into all of this about CAN IDs and what all this is. I'm not here to educate you about CAN. I'm here to get your stuff working and you guys out racing. So what we're going to do is click import DBC file. Okay. Now, you will need this file from me, and I am here to tell you that it is not going to work with the other files that are floating around on the internet. So you'll need this file from me. Double click that, and it's going to pop up this DBC file loader. So this is where all the magic happens, and I really want to thank George for spending the time with me and educating me a lot on CAN bus with this, and also making revisions to firmware and software multiple times until we got this right. So remember that number that we had of 262? You better have written it down. That's what your offset is. So CAN ID offset 262. Okay. Now this is where I have to warn you. This DBC file has got a boatload of stuff in it. Okay. So Hardwire limits you to 100 CAN inputs. 100 CAN inputs is absurd, and even for me, and I'm the person who maxes out everything that I own, right? So we're going to be using these CAN inputs for like on conditions and whatnot. So let's see, RPM. I'm just going to grab a couple so that you guys can see, what it does, right? So like see how it works, right? So RPM. Let's grab here like ignition timing. Maybe we want to turn on something with ignition timing. Map sensor is a good one. TPS, air temp, coolant temp's good. Turn on your fans based off of coolant temp. You don't really need battery because this thing's monitoring battery pressure or battery voltage already. Oil pressure, maybe fuel pressure. Maybe you want to do something like when a timing retard turns on, maybe you want to do something. It's really like the only limitation is like how deep you want to go into this and like how much time you want to spend doing this, right? So you can scroll through this and you'll see that there's a boatload of stuff. But I'm going to come down here to the part that I find very useful, and that is notice these are even like all advanced table 1D per gear. Table 6, it'll spit out the actual value of whatever's going on in that table. It's pretty awesome. So here, like you can build an output in Holley software, right? So like you can make an output over here in Holley. So let's go to here. So like enable type, we can just do, it doesn't have to be like anything, right? It can just be like here, whatever, ground output, right? And then you can configure it. And you can say, there's already some stuff on here, but like here, if this is the parameters you wanted for this output to turn on, right? You could do that, right? There's your output. Or actually, here, let's make it a, so we don't have to pin it, right? CAN ground. Yeah. So like, you can make this thing do whatever you want, right? And then you don't even have to assign it to anything, right? Because it's just going to go on and off. So you could grab that output. You could come over here. We'll go back. That was output number 21. So whatever you wanted that output to turn on for, whatever it could be. It doesn't matter. You would come down here and find output. Or sorry, whoops, I shouldn't have grabbed 21. Should have grabbed 20 because it'll grab the first 20. But you can make that output turn on and then send a CAN message over to the Holley and make it do whatever you want it to do, right? Then you've got a whole gang of inputs. Same thing, right? So like with my car, we go to inputs. Like with my car, what I'm going to do is like my trans fan is getting turned on by transmission temp. My bump button is actually going to be a horn button. So depending on a couple of different parameters, right? So we can send all that info over via CAN, right? My brake pressure is going to turn on the brake lights. So a whole bunch of really cool stuff that you can do and turn stuff on and off with. Anyway, so I just grabbed a couple of them, scroll through here, spend some time, grab what you want, and then it's in there and hit import. Okay. It's going to auto-populate input filters, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And then it's going to spit this out right here. Now, when I send this to the PDM, what's going to happen is it's going to shut the ECU off, because when you send a CAN config to the PDM, it basically has to shut the CAN down for like a split second, so it can like receive all the new information. So we're gonna hit send, and this really depends upon the speed at which this sends. Honestly, depends upon, like, as dumb as this sounds, like your USB cable and like USB connection, right? So this one takes a little bit longer right now because I have it going through a USB bulkhead, and then I have a 10-foot extension or a 20-foot USB extension cable hooked up right now, because I'm like sitting pretty far away from the car, right? So there we go. It just shut off. So you see it timed out, right? It just shut off my ECU. So I'm going to come over here, turn the ECU back on, and then boom, there we go. Now we're live. So we have got all of the CAN data coming across, right? So there's our map, KPA, TPS air temp, right? So 66, 67 degrees, coolant temp, oil pressure, fuel pressure, yada, yada. So these are just a handful of things that I grabbed. And then we can use them for on conditions, right? So let's see here. Let's imagine, so maybe we want to do a fuel pump on with RPM, right? So we use RPM. So we come over here to outputs, and here I got fuel pump 1, expand. This is an old whatever. So whatever, disregard that. So we just hit OR here, and we go CAN input RPM value is greater than or equal to constant, let's just say 50 RPM, right? So there you go. That and then we come over here to this and hit add, and now CAN input 1 RPM value is greater than or equal to 50, which we're looking at RPM. So it'd be greater than 50 RPM. It'll turn on that fuel pump. So we would hit send to make that happen. So again, these live values are what you're looking at, right? So these are, you can change the units too, like if you need like a reference, right? So TPS has just got like an underscore. You'd probably change that to percentage. Coolant temp is Fahrenheit. Oil pressure just says P, so you put PSI. It's pretty cool. I've done quite a few of these online via TeamViewer with people, and if you ever decide that you want to add more stuff, all you have to do is go back in here to this import DBC file and do it again, right? So just grab something else and throw it in there, and you're done. Obviously, when you're all done, hit save, and you're good to go. So hopefully this proved to be useful. The Hardwire PDM I have found, after playing with these things for probably the past 8 months, 9 months, whenever they first came out, the 28, I found this thing to be extremely capable. It's awesome. So this isn't me on a sales pitch, yada yada, but I will say that we have a Black Friday sale going on right now. I don't remember exact pricing, but I'm pretty sure we knocked if you buy the keypad, the PDM 28 and our flying lead harness, I think it saves you like $500 off of retail, which is pretty dang good. Um, and we knocked like 200 and something dollars off of the PDM 28s. Even more money off of the keypads. Don't quote me on exact dollar amounts. Just go onto my website, hcrinnovations.com, or feel free to text our phone number or call our phone number, whatever you want to do, 864-565-5606. We'd be happy to help you get up and running with, in my opinion, the best PDM on the market. So I've played with a lot of them, and this one is my favorite so far. So unless somebody comes out with something new, I'll be at PRI next week or 2 weeks from now. I highly doubt I'm going to find any new PDMs that outdo this thing, but this thing's pretty awesome. So thanks for watching. Hopefully I taught y'all something. And if you are a current customer and you have questions when you're going through this, feel free to shoot us an email, message, call, whatever you want to do. Just so you know that we're always here to support you. So have a good one. See you.